I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes.
Things are not looking great for Beyoncé right now. Even though there's no evidence against her, her name keeps getting dragged into the Diddy drama. This all started because her husband, Jay-Z, is close friends with Diddy, which has the internet buzzing with speculation that Beyoncé might know something. To make matters worse, there's talk of a freak-offs tape involving Beyoncé and Diddy that's supposedly being shopped around to media outlets, with TMZ reportedly offering millions for it. Rumor has it that this tape could drop any moment, and it's going to expose not just Diddy, but other celebrities who were involved in some wild parties. Some photos from these parties have already leaked, showing Diddy pouring champagne on two workers who were getting intimate with each other. There's also another shot of one of Diddy's friends in a pool with two escorts, engaging in some pretty explicit activities. Some leaked photos from that party showed big-name celebrities like Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, Chris Brown, Leonardo DiCaprio, Franklin, Obama, Trump, and even Prince Harry. These pictures caused a huge stir online, but they're nothing compared to the rumored footage of Diddy and Beyoncé that's allegedly about to be sold and made public. These rumors gained momentum when a lawyer named Ariel Mitchell appeared in an interview and shared some disturbing details about a new client who's suing Diddy for SA. While the lawyer didn't reveal the client's identity, the client claims they met Diddy in 2018 at a friend's house. After having a few drinks, which they later found out were secretly spiked by Diddy, they started feeling dizzy and eventually passed out. The client says Diddy essayed them using an object, and then instructed another man to do the same and pleasure himself. Even worse, Diddy's assistant, Christina Karam, whom Diddy often calls his right hand, was in the room, and the client claims she and Diddy were openly discussing trafficking.
She called me and told me a very horrific story about her and her escape from the. She told me that she was at a friend's house who had industry ties and was on the phone with Diddy, and he decided to come to the house. And when he came to the house, everything was fine, that there was another woman there who we've determined to be Christina Karam, KK, who Diddy talks about a lot as his right-hand woman, if you will, and that they were discussing her, and then that led to her being served a drink where then she started to feel woozy, and then Mr. Combs her with an inanimate object, and then actually directed another gentleman to her while he watched and pleasured himself.
At some point during all of this, she regained consciousness and managed to escape. She ran out of the house screaming for help, and a neighbor heard her, letting her into their home and calling the police.
So she was able to escape eventually and ran out into the streets yelling and screaming, and a neighbor heard her because this happened in a quiet suburban neighborhood, if you will.
So there's a witness?
Yes, we have a witness. We also have a police report. As she's running out the house yelling, a neighbor saw her and invited her into the home.
Okay.
And it's the neighbor who then called the police, and the police did come out at that time. They also stated that they heard cars screeching, and the neighbor went outside and saw a black SUV leaving the premises very quickly. And by the time the police arrived, of course, he was no longer there.
Well, was the neighbor able to identify who it was?
The neighbor wasn't, only that they saw the car leaving, and they'd only described the truck. They could not tell who was inside, but she told the neighbor at the time who it was and why they were leaving so abruptly.
Even though the victim filed a police report, nothing was done about it. Likely because Diddy had paid off the authorities. This was something he allegedly did to many of his victims, which is why it took someone as high profile as Cassie filing a lawsuit for him to finally face consequences.
Due to the high profile nature that it was Mr. Combs who did this, she was afraid for her life. She was concerned that if she was to come forward and say something, that no one would believe her, because we're talking about 2018 when Mr. Combs was still pretty much at the height of his career, still very much so an icon and influential figure. So she's just a young girl from Northern California who's gonna believe that he had done something to her like this. So she didn't tell anybody. She did not hire an attorney. All she did was make the police report in the hopes that maybe the police would try to investigate and come up with anything. But she said she kind of felt from the police that they were disregarding what she was saying, even without saying.
In the police report?
I don't think so. Based on what she said, she really felt that the police were trying to bury this and disregard her claims and not really investigate, which is another reason why a lot of victims don't report these things to the police. We have to address the elephant in the room is that we have victims, especially women, who go to the police, who are typically men, who don't actually investigate these things. They victim blame, they victim shame, and women don't feel safe or even protected to even make these claims because they don't think they'll be taken seriously, nor will their claims be investigated.
This is where the interview took an interesting turn. Ariel revealed that someone else approached her to represent them in the sale of a leaked tape involving Diddy and another high-profile celebrity. Ariel claimed she saw the video herself, and according to her, the other celebrity is even more famous than Diddy. What's more shocking is that this person appeared to have no idea they were being filmed.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill.
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No, I can't explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was in nature.
Oh my, all right. So we know that he videotaped a lot of activities at his home, did he? And it sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't like looking into the video, so it's, to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping, like they're being surreptitiously recorded.
Even though Ariel didn't directly mention Beyoncé, people quickly began speculating that she might be the other person on the tape, especially after Ariel hinted that the individual was more famous than Diddy. The rumors intensified after a viral video of DaBaby surfaced, where he shared a story about being invited to Diddy's house for a secret, intimate meeting with Diddy, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z. According to DaBaby, Beyoncé introduced herself in a way that seemed like she was flirting, possibly hinting at something more than just conversation, what he referred to as initiating a freak-off. DaBaby also mentioned that Diddy kicked out all the less important people, leaving just him, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z in the room. Once it was just the three of them, DaBaby said Diddy started acting a little too familiar, even putting his hands around DaBaby's neck, saying Diddy took a liking to him.
I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people, he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there. Me and, you know, maybe about 15 others, you know.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, you know, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, you know. And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to. Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop the whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was dope. That was super dope.
But it doesn't stop there. Do y'all remember when Diddy made the members of the band walk all the way downtown in New York to get him a cheesecake? It's unclear exactly where they were, but the walk took about 4 hours. At the time, people thought it was just Diddy testing the boys' loyalty, even though it seemed off. Well, Freddie P., one of the band members, recently revealed in an interview with Art of Dialogue that the cheesecake wasn't even for Diddy. It was for Beyoncé. Apparently, she was the one who asked for it, but instead of having someone from her team get it, she let Diddy make the band members walk for hours to fetch it. And then she allowed him to humiliate them on camera for his show, Making the Band. You'd think she'd be uncomfortable with how embarrassing it was for the guys, but supposedly, she didn't care and still enjoyed the cheesecake.
A lot of people don't know that cheesecake we went and got was for Beyoncé. She was upstairs the whole time. What we was talking about again? Hold on. Yeah, that's a fun fact. People don't know. People like, y'all walked together a cheesecake. It was for Beyoncé. I listen to everything you say as if it's a contract. So if you say, walk to the store, or walk to get me some cheesecake, I'll walk to get you some cheesecake, but I'm not walking back. And that's just what me and Darlon did. And they like, why y'all, you know, they hot. Like, y'all cheating. And we like, he told us to walk. He ain't tell us to walk back. So we already in the hotel like 3 hours before they got there. When they said they was coming, we went and met him in front of the building. And you know, the first thing that said out of his mouth, he said, we got the cheesecake. He was like, I don't want that shit. Take that shit upstairs for Beyonce. Then he said, they was like, yeah, man, we wanted to tell you, Fred and Darlon, they ain't walk back. You know, trying to be on some snitching shit. He's like, I ain't tell you niggas to walk back.
As if all this wasn't enough to fuel speculation that it's Beyoncé in that alleged video, some people are even saying it might be Jay-Z instead. Apparently, they used to be really close, and there have been rumors that Diddy has been involved with Jay-Z romantically. These rumors got louder after a video went viral showing Diddy slapping Jay's cheeks on stage multiple times, almost like a signal that something might happen after the show. Now, to be clear, it hasn't been confirmed that Beyoncé is in the video. We'll have to wait and see if TMZ buys it and makes it public. For now, any involvement from Beyoncé is just speculation. But of course, people have their own opinions. One person commented, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and P. Diddy are all the same. She's not a victim. She loves these parties. Another said, I never cared for Beyoncé. She tries to act all sweet and innocent, but we know the truth. They don't call her Queen Bee for nothing. And another person added, the floodgates have opened, and Diddy is going to be drained by the time this is all over. He should have just married his kid's mother and lived a peaceful life. But now, what do y'all think? Could it really be Beyoncé in that tape with Diddy? And do you think Diddy is going to snitch on her once the trial starts? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to check out this other messy video.